Okay, so in this little video, I just did the consistent setup for World 3's TBMS, and I'm just going to show it here. A consistent setup for TBMS requires that you first set up TBMS, or well, TBS, text box storage, and the way to do that is you talk to an NPC and walk out of their range. You already know how to do that. But I found that a consistent way of setting it up is to not hold right click and to be in shift lock switch. So not holding right click and be in shift lock switch. I found that to be a little bit more easy and consistent to get it set up. That might just be a feel thing. I've only really noticed it in World 1 and not World 3. So again, we don't know enough about this to understand why that would be easier, but I feel like that's just a feel thing. That's the first thing you want to set up. The second thing you want to set up is shift lock, not shift lock, wall hugging. When you press the wall hug keys, which is period and comma, your camera snaps to the 90 degrees axis of the world. And you want to snap to the front axis like this, and then 45 degrees to the left. This will make sure you're perfectly aligned. You then want to get in the marble, disable shift lock switch if you feel like it, and then don't touch your camera. You shouldn't need to touch it. I would move your camera out and down though, just a bit, so you can see what you're doing. And then I would just move to the left and die. And that was entirely intentional because now it set up the trick. I'm joking. I'm just stupid. I have not figured out this first part. Going down this ramp is kind of difficult, and I haven't figured out a consistent setup to make going down the ramp not weird. But I found that if you're going down this spiral ramp and you're bouncing, I'm not bouncing here, so this might work. Like that. If I'm not bouncing, then I get the trick. But if I start bouncing off like the walls of the ramp and not following it smoothly, then I don't get a good angle. Another thing you want to focus on is you want to be able to hit the right timing. So I'm going to show this little video here where I recorded me doing it. Set it up, set up the angle, and then going down the ramp. As you can see, I was kind of bouncing, but I sorted it out. So I'm going to stop the video. I'm going to go back a little bit. As you can see, when you get to this point, you'll notice that I'm holding D. I'm not actually holding forward. So if I move back, you'll notice that I'm actually pulling into the wall. I want to push into the wall so I have a nice smooth transition. If you watch the keybinds there, I'm holding A, now I'm holding S to push against the wall, then D, then W. As soon as I get to that point, I hit W. So once I bounce off that bit there, I hit W, and the reason why is, if I move this back just a little bit, as I'm going down this ramp, since I've hit the shift lock keys to angle myself to the right angle, when you get to that part, and pressing W will move you along in this direction. So if I come down here, if I look down there, you bounce off roughly there, and when pressing shift lock, your camera is aligned like this. Notice how this is not an actual 45 degree angle, it's more like 15 degrees off to the right or something. That's why you want to do this. Setting this up means that your camera kind of goes diagonally across there. So when you hit that point, all you have to do is press W, and you will naturally move diagonally across this thing. If you set it up correctly, the next thing you need to do is press E at the right time. You want to go just about halfway up this ramp to about here-ish, and then press E, but you still want to be holding W when you do it. So I go up the ramp, and if we go pay closer attention to what just happened there, I go up almost to the top, but I don't launch off the ramp. The further, you want to click E at the latest point possible, so that you get enough height, but you don't want to press it too late that I want to press it roughly around here. You don't want to press it so late that you end up flying up and bouncing against the ceiling of the dome. Once you press it around there, you teleport to the challenge course and you have a good angle. You then want to keep holding W, and you want to keep holding it till you're about halfway there, and the rest of this is sort of an adjustment thing. Here I'm holding down S. Once you get to around this far away, or about halfway through the jump, you then want to hold down S and maybe D or A to align yourself a bit better. You want to aim for like the middle to the bottom of this thing. And when holding S, I would say starting to hold S here would be a bit safer, because usually what happens is I'll hold S and then I won't make the jump, and I'll end up falling too short. So you want to hold S as late as possible, but you also want to hold it for long enough that you have enough backwards momentum, because if you hit this portal with a too much forwards momentum, you will not snap out of the marble, and if you don't snap out of the marble, you will end up flying off the base plate and die. So you want to start holding S, and if you do it correctly and you hold S for just long enough that you hit the marble thing, but not so long that you miss the teleport, you will snap out of your marble like that, because you will bounce against this part of the ground that has the marble deactivation trigger. That's how that works. I'm going to do it one more time just to show that this setup is semi-consistent. It's quite tricky. I would say it's about as tricky as World 7 Dragon Skip, but with practice, it is kind of consistent. So here, I was kind of bouncing, so I might fail this. Yeah, okay. I was not holding W there. That was very bad. Let me try that one more time. So I make sure my camera angle's facing the right way. Click that. Make sure I flush to the wall. And there you go. Like magic.